Well, thanks for tuning in to NDTV Profit. We are here at the World Economic Forum at Davos, and make no bones about it, every single year, everybody talks about how technology is at the forefront of everything that's happening in the world, including here at Davos. And it's my absolute delight and pleasure to welcome Mr. Jagdeshwar Gattu, President of Digital Foundation Services at HCLTech, to try and tell us a bit about how he sees what's happening on the technology front in the domains that he's taking care of, which is, by the way, the largest domain at HCLTech and arguably any large IT services company in India or elsewhere. Jagdeshwar, thank you so much for being with us here on NDTV Profit. Just let's quickly start by telling people about what you do, because not everybody would be completely aware of digital foundation services. People are aware of infra, but not necessarily this.
Yeah. So digital foundation services is the bedrock for digital transformation, right? We create infrastructure, which is secure, resilient, and flexible, and also provides experience operations. So the customers, when they're doing the digital transformation or a business transformation, they need a foundation, and that's what we deliver from HCL side.
Wow. So the foundation, as we see over the last 15 years, the ability to provide all the stuff that you spoke about on the foundation has changed materially, because I believe the flexibility part that you spoke about has also increased, because a lot of people want to be a lot more on cloud. I'm presuming that is one. Security as well you mentioned you want to provide a secure foundation, and there too, just by virtue of all that's happening across the world when it comes to security issues, it seems that the need for a more secure network, a more sophisticated secure network, has only gone up. The network itself has grown tremendously in size. So how different is it right now, and how challenging is it right now to do the work that you're doing relative to what it would have been 10 years ago?
Yeah, Niraj, if you look at what we have seen in the last 3-4 years with the COVID coming in, right? Suddenly, people who are working in the office, there was a cloud journey which we were going through. Before COVID also there was the cloud, and there was a little bit of bandwagon where everybody said we got to go 100% cloud, right? But COVID brought a different angle to the whole thing, right? People started working from home. So part of the working from home, you have to make sure that everybody has the same level of access, whether they are at home or at the airports or different places. So network became very critical aspect of how you actually want to optimize, how you want to transform the network. When you open up both the endpoints which our users are using, and you open up the network transformation, suddenly security actually became very critical aspect of the whole thing. So now, not only you secure endpoints, not only you secure your perimeter, but you started securing, security is more like a dynamic posture it has to get into, right? There is a new way of defined policy. Now think about what is happening with the AI coming in, right? Mm-hmm. With AI coming in, the sophistication has increased in terms of the attackers, right? Before with all this transformation, the security, the surface, attack surface was broadening with the OT coming in, cloud coming in, people working from home. But now with the AI coming in, more sophistication happened. So these two, and some of the regulatory requirements also continuously come. This geopolitical situation, what we're going through, right? It's automatically pushes, geopolitical situation primarily forces statewide, state-sponsored attacker situation. Also, some of the different communities start attacking because of the geopolitical situation. All these kind of forces you to sort of have a right foundation to run your digital infrastructure, a right foundation to run your business operations. So that's where we see that the enterprises now putting a lot of effort on investments in terms of security. What we used to see 2-3 years back about 7 to 8% of the deal value, now security actually almost becoming 20-25% of the deal value. There are standalone deals we are seeing in the security space, and there are standalone deals we're seeing in the network space, because it's almost like you're doing a catch-up game. You sort of went into a cloud journey, you went into the COVID because of the workplace endpoint, security point of view. Then now you are trying to transform your network, transform your security.
So how does that, for example, impact somebody like you who runs such a large piece of a large IT company because you are offering the whole bouquet of services, but as you said as well, that there are standalone niche pieces of deals happening as well, wherein vendors who are coming and saying that, hey, we understand, let's say, uh, you know, security better than most companies, we understand X better than most companies. So how is this constant skirmish between a whole service being given versus piecemeal services being given by experts impacting business for you? And then part two of my question, think from a vendor's perspective who wants singularly in his mind the cost to come down. How is that conversation happening with you at a point of time when you also want to protect your margins?
Yeah. So, we are the largest and number one infrastructure service provider, and I have a natural advantage of transforming myself into providing solution to the customers, right? So we have an existing pool of talent, and we're also done a lot of initiatives with respect. I'm sure you heard about the tech bees who are 10 plus 2 members coming in. There are various catchment areas we are creating. Inside there is talent who can transform into the new gen skills, which we are putting a lot of effort. And then the new talent, recently you saw we are the ones who are taking freshers compared to anybody else. So combining all these forces, we are able to create that talent pool which will address this particular thing. And when we talk about automation is also helping to the game. Because of automation coming in, there is a level of maturity which has come in automation for the last 3-4 years, coupled with Gen AI, we're able to solve a lot of problems and create some best experience for the customers. And coming to the profits and other things, because if you look at it, when you're driving the scale at which we are operating, we can definitely offer customers the advantage of the scale. And that's where we're still able to continuously maintain the margins, what we spoke about recently and continuously, right? And that combination of this, able to create the talent and able to provide the thought leadership, because these various things which are happening in the customer environment, we're able to go back to the customer and say, here is a thought leadership, what they should be doing and how they should be doing, and then combined with the scale what we have. So there's a perfect balance in terms of how we're able to establish this market leadership. Not only that, if I look at my leadership team, this leadership team has been with me for last, 17, 18 years.
Wow. Okay.
CVK also spoke in his thing that, leadership attrition is, lower single digits, right? That reflects into the, digital foundation services also. Most of my direct report is, probably working with me for the last 15 years. So that talks about, the kind of culture and the kind of, customer centricity we have in terms of delivering these services.
Well, maybe IT services have a problem of attrition, but you certainly don't. but a question. I mean IT service industry at large, not HCLTech. But what last couple of questions. One is how different could this piece look like, say 5 years out? The reason I ask this, because the constant conversation that happens when we talk to people who are experts at tracking IT services is that they talk about how legacy business at one end for large IT companies is moving down one path, and new businesses are coming in and doing something completely different. Now I would love to understand from you, because you run a piece which could quote unquote be defined as legacy, but which is also a few years back tried to reinvent itself, now doing a lot of other things as well. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, Niraj, I would say that 5 years is too long for IT to think about it, right? It is more 2 to 3 years, I would say,
Let's
right?
do that then.
So the way let me give some example of 4 years back, everybody said even in the IT space, hey, automation is going to take over, and everybody will kind of lose their jobs or whatnot. Even in the industrial revolution when it happened, everybody said, okay, this is going to take over, people will. But now, if you reflect it, right, there are other roles got created. Take example of cloud. People were doing this cloud journey, and there is something called FinOps got created. FinOps is basically, it's a practice. We monitor cloud consumption continuously and alert enterprises whether they are consuming in the right manner, or they need to balance their consumption. So there is a new practice which came in. A couple of years back, I used to think automation is just a, let me say this in a different way, right? When CIOs used to visit us, I used to tell them, hey, let's spend some time about automation. And automation was given like 15 minutes, 20 minutes about 4 or 5 years back. Now the same CIOs who are visiting today to all of our offices, we're spending considerable amount of time, 2 hours, 3 hours, talking about how you want to do what you want to do. Automation has become suddenly a separate tower by itself, or track by itself, right? Same thing will happen with some of the new technologies. AI will happen same, So the legacy component, while it shrinks a little bit, but there is a newer technologies, newer things start expanding, and we'll continue to see growth in that particular area. So the mainframe is a classic example too. People thought 20 years back mainframe is going to go away, but we still have customers running mainframe, and we still have teams we're nurturing and building talent in that area. So the legacy component will stay with some portions. The transformation will continue to drive, and the newer components will becoming bigger and bigger. And if you look at the entire portfolio wise.
Got it. Quick 30-second answer before we wrap up. What are you looking forward to the WEF the next 3-4 days?
I'm quite excited. Then looking at number of customer interactions, number of partners who are here, it's amazing how everybody able to come together here, and it's a great opportunity to network, and it's a great opportunity to learn something new. And there are newer themes which are much more abstract and broader. I'm keen to learn about those newer things, but while the abstract stuff I continue to learn, but there are a lot of relationships which you need to see. Meeting, who is who in the OEM side, and a lot of partners are there. Good line of meetings are, there in front of us.
Well, wish you all the best, and thanks so much for speaking to us today, Jagdeshwar.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
The pleasure was ours. Viewers, thanks for tuning in.